Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Naomi was responsible for Jade Cargill's first ever clean loss in the company. On this week's SmackDown, Cargill lost to Liv Morgan in a singles match after interference by the Glow. The 37-year-old superstar had admitted that she was the mastermind behind Cargill's brutal attack in November. Speaking to Bianca Belair during a promo, she claimed to have taken Cargill out of action and even doubled down by adding that she wished she could have pushed the storm harder and sooner. On SmackDown, Naomi distracted Jade Cargill, allowing Morgan to defeat her via pinfall. Post-match, Cargill was attacked by Naomi, who then went on to X to send a three-word message after her assault. Check out Naomi's post on X. Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Belair were known as the Big Three. They teamed up last year at WrestleMania XL for a six-woman tag team match against Damage CTRL. The Big Three was victorious over Kairi Sane, Asuka, and Dakota Kai. A year later, a lot has changed, with Naomi feuding with Cargill and Belair chasing the WWE Women's World Championship. The EST will challenge Io Shirai at WrestleMania 41. Meanwhile, it remains to be seen if Naomi and Cargill cross paths in a singles match at the grandest stage of them all. It was the moment that no one saw coming. After a year of dominating the WWE Women's division with an unmatched aura of invincibility, Jade Cargill stood tall in the ring, arms raised high, the champion's glow surrounding her as she towered over the competition. But there, in front of a crowd that had seen her destroy every woman put in front of her, was something new: uncertainty. For the first time in her WWE career, Jade Cargill was on the wrong end of a clean loss. No interference, no distractions, just a singular, definitive moment where Naomi, the woman who had long been an underdog in WWE's women's division, had secured a victory that would be talked about for years. The arena buzzed with a mixture of awe and disbelief as Naomi stood victorious, her hand raised by the referee, while Cargill, the once untouchable force, looked up at her, a mix of anger and realization flashing across her face. It was more than just a victory. It was a statement. Naomi, the veteran whose journey through WWE had been filled with both highs and lows, had finally reached the pinnacle where she could take down one of the company's most formidable champions. It wasn't just about the physicality or the match itself. It was the emotional victory, the triumph of resilience over arrogance. And for Naomi, it was redemption. The aftermath. The moment Naomi pinned Jade Cargill clean in the middle of the ring, it sent shockwaves through the WWE universe. Fans had seen Cargill's meteoric rise, her dominant run in AEW, her seamless transition to WWE, and her confident, even cocky, demeanor that she backed up with each match. But that night, all of it came crashing down. Naomi stood in the ring, eyes wide, trying to process the enormity of what she had just accomplished. She'd beaten Jade Cargill, someone who had seemed unbeatable. The crowd's roar was deafening as Naomi soaked in the moment. The underdog had triumphed, and in doing so, she not only won a title, but proved that sometimes it's the journey, the struggles, and the growth that make the victory all the more meaningful. Meanwhile, Jade Cargill stood in the corner, her chest heaving, hands on her hips, trying to come to terms with the feeling of defeat. It was unfamiliar to her, foreign. For the first time in months, she was forced to confront the reality that she wasn't invincible. Her pride, which had been her armor, now felt like a burden. But she was Jade Cargill. She wasn't one to back down or sulk in defeat. No, she would rise from this. She always did. She would learn from this, come back stronger, and remind everyone why she was considered the most dominant force in WWE. Naomi's message. Later that evening, after the cameras stopped rolling and the arena emptied, Naomi sat alone in her locker room, her hands still shaking from the adrenaline of the match. She had just done the unthinkable, and as the weight of it settled in, she realized it wasn't just a win. It was a turning point in her career. She had fought for years to be taken seriously, to be recognized as a true force in the women's division. Tonight, she had done that in the most spectacular fashion. But Naomi wasn't just thinking about herself in that moment. She knew what this win meant, not just for her, but for every woman who had ever felt overlooked, underestimated, or silenced. This victory wasn't just personal. It was for every wrestler who had to prove themselves again and again, who had to fight for their place in a world that often preferred the loudest voices and the brightest stars. Her phone buzzed on the bench beside her. She reached for it, scrolling through the endless stream of messages from friends, fellow wrestlers, and fans all congratulating her. But there was one message that caught her attention. It was short, simple, and sent directly after the match aired. It was from an unexpected source, Jade Cargill. The message read, "You earned it." Naomi blinked, processing the words. It wasn't an apology. It wasn't an excuse. It wasn't even a congratulatory message. But in those 3 words there was respect. There was acknowledgement. Jade had not only accepted her loss, but she had also recognized Naomi's triumph for what it was, a hard-fought, earned victory. Naomi's heart swelled. She had just broken through the biggest wall of her career, and Jade Cargill, one of the most dominant figures in professional wrestling, had given her the ultimate validation. It was a moment of quiet grace, an exchange between 2 competitors who understood the business, who understood what it meant to push each other to greater heights. Naomi smiled as she typed her response, the words coming easily as if the moment demanded them. She didn't need to overthink it. She didn't need to say more than what was necessary. The 3 words she sent back were simple: "I'll see you." It wasn't a challenge, but it was a promise. A promise that, regardless of the result, their rivalry was far from over. This moment wasn't the end, it was just the beginning. The impact of the victory. Naomi's victory over Jade Cargill didn't just change her career. It changed the landscape of WWE's women's division. Fans who had long championed Naomi for her in-ring prowess and undeniable charisma saw a new side of her that night. She wasn't just a high flyer or a crowd favorite. She was a force to be reckoned with. She was capable of not only holding her own with the top names in the industry, but also of taking them down when the moment required it. As for Jade, the loss was a wake-up call. No longer could she rely on the aura of invincibility that had carried her through the toughest challenges. She had been dethroned, and for the first time she found herself needing to rebuild, not just her physical strength, but her mentality. Losing had never been part of her narrative, but now she would have to find a way to grow stronger from the experience. The months that followed would see both women embark on separate but intertwined journeys. Naomi, armed with newfound confidence, would continue to rise in WWE, earning a place among the elite. She'd prove that this victory wasn't just a fluke. It was the beginning of something much greater. Her resilience and determination would set her apart from the pack, as she now stood at the forefront of a new era in women's wrestling. Jade, on the other hand, would dig deep to find the lessons in defeat. She would evolve, refine her skills, and return to the ring with a fire that could not be extinguished. The loss to Naomi was not the end. It was merely the start of a new chapter in her story. Jade Cargill would return stronger, wiser, and more dangerous than ever. And so, the rivalry that began with Naomi's clean victory over Jade Cargill would not be quickly forgotten. It was a turning point for both women, a defining moment that would shape the future of the women's division in WWE. There was no longer just one top star. There were 2, each carrying their own unique journey, their own battles, and their own stories that fans would follow for years to come. A new era. Naomi's 3-word message to Jade Cargill, "I'll see you," would echo throughout WWE for years to come, symbolizing not just the end of one chapter, but the beginning of another. It was a reminder that in WWE, no one is truly unbeatable. The competition is fierce, the stakes are high, and every wrestler's journey is subject to change. As Naomi continued her rise, and Jade prepared for her inevitable return, the WWE Universe knew one thing for certain. This was only the beginning of an unforgettable story, one that would push both women to new heights and elevate the entire division to levels never before seen. Conclusion. In professional wrestling, it's not just the victories and the titles that matter. It's the stories that are told in the ring, the emotions that are felt, and the legacies that are built. Naomi and Jade Cargill's paths crossing in such a historic way changed both women's careers and set the stage for one of the most compelling rivalries in WWE history. Naomi's clean victory over Jade Cargill wasn't just a triumph of skill. It was a triumph of heart, of perseverance, and of believing in oneself when others might doubt. And for Jade, it was a humbling experience, a reminder that even the greatest champions can fall. But as history has shown, sometimes it's in defeat that true greatness is forged. The WWE Universe would be watching as Naomi and Jade Cargill continued to battle, both for supremacy, but also for respect, because in the end, that's what truly matters. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our WWE official YouTube channel for more update news.